In today's lesson, we are going to look at investment evaluation techniques. Investment evaluation techniques. Now, we have various techniques that we use in evaluating what investment. So, like you want to embark on an investment, uh, you have to evaluate to know whether to invest in that particular put money into that particular project or not. Now we have various methods or various techniques that we use in evaluating investments. We have the payback rule, that is the payback period. Payback period rule. We have the discounted payback rule. We have the net present value, that is the NPV. And then we can also use the accounting rate of return, that is the ARR. And then also we have what we call IRR, that is I think internal rate of return, that is IRR, and many more. So we are going to take them one after the other. But in this video, we are going to look at the first two, the payback rule, how to calculate what technique that we are going to use in deciding or choosing a particular project or investment using the payback rule technique, and then the discounted payback rule. All right, so let's begin with the payback rule. Now, what do we mean by the payback rule? Normally, the payback rule helps the organization to determine the number of years it will take to recover the cost of investment. That is the money that you put into a project, the number of years it will take that organization to recover that amount that was used to undertake that particular investment. That is what we mean by the payback rule. So we say, simply put, we say it determines the number of years to recover the cost of initial investment by the help of or with the help of, let's say, streams of cash inflows. That is it. However, with the payback rule, we are going to use it in two different situations. So we have two different situations. One, situations where we use payback. The first situation is in the case of a constant annual cash flow. And then also two, in a case of uneven, or let's say unequal cash flow. So we take them one after the other. Now, what do we mean by in a case of a constant annual cash flow? That is, we assume that if, let's say, I put 20,000, I invest 20,000 in a project, and then we anticipate that the investment is going to yield an annual cash inflow of, let's say, 10,000 every year. So first year we have estimated that the project is going to give us 10,000 Ghana cedis. Second year 10,000, third year 10,000. So you see that there is a steady or constant cash inflow. This is the case of the constant cash inflow. And then the case of uneven or unequal cash inflow is if, let's say, we invest 20,000 Ghana cedis in a particular project and we estimate or we just anticipate that the annual cash inflow is going to be such that maybe first year we are going to get, let's say, 10,000, maybe the following year 5,000, the following year 700. So you see, when you look at the figure here, they are not constant as compared to these ones. So when a question is given, it is up to you to decide on which situation are we dealing with in that particular question. All right. All right. So then we look at. So let's look at in a case or a question where we have a constant annual cash flow. So when we have the case of constant annual cash flow, we use the formula payback period or rule. We say the cash outlay, that is when we say cash outlay, that is your initial investment, the amount of money you are investing over the cash inflow. So let's consider one or two examples and know how best we can solve a question using the first case. Now, before we move to solving questions, we have what we call the decision rule. The decision rule. Now, after calculating your payback period, let's say we want to embark on more than one investment. Now, how do we select a feasible investment? Now, the decision rule is such that you select the investment project with the shortest payback period. So if I'm embarking on let's say investment A and investment B, that is project A and project B, and after calculating my payback period, I realized that the payback period for investment A is 4 years, meaning it is going to take me 4 years to recover the initial investment, the cost of the initial investment, and here it's going to take me, let's say, 4.5 years. Then you see that this one has a shorter payback period. So the organization will opt for investment in project A. That is it. Now let's consider one or two examples so that we know how to calculate the payback period for a project. So let's say we have this. A project requires initial investment. A project requires initial investment of 400,000 Ghana cedis, and it will generate an annual cash inflow of, let's say, 80,000 Ghana cedis per year. That is annually per year for 6 years. You are required to find, let's say, find out the payback period. Yes. So what do we do here? Like we said, when we say payback period, we said it is used to determine the number of years to recover the cost of initial investment. So here you see that we are investing for 100,000 Ghana cedis. So how many years will it take the organization or the business to recover this what? 400,000 Ghana cedis. So we say our payback. And how do you know if we are dealing with a constant annual cash flow and then uneven? Now you see that it's saying that the annual cash inflow is going to be 80,000 per year, meaning at the end, so for 6 years, year one, we are estimating 80,000 Ghana cedis cash inflow. Year two, 80,000, year three, 80,000. So there's a constant what? Cash inflow. That is why we are using the formula payback rule or payback period is equal to, we said one is your initial investment. Sika na ɔde kɔhyɛ investment mu no over your cash inflows. Good. Now you see we have our initial investment to be the 400. When you do business, then we divide by this. So what do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it goes here 1, goes here how many times? I think this is this one should be pause. So it goes here 5. So we have 5 what? Yes. So what does it mean? Meaning it will take 5 years to recover the initial cost of investment. Meaning this investment should be taken. Now, assuming after calculating, we are getting a figure that is more than the estimated years, then we assume that it's not a good investment. All right. Now let's consider another example. Let's look at another example. Example 2. Okay, so in our example 2,